Okay, so this is going to be a quick video on how to check your fasteners or your screws and your blade play. This has got, look at that blade play. I did it on purpose. I loosened it on purpose just for the video. All the body screws are loose. This is loose, the pivot. And normally I don't use pivot lube, but we're going to throw some KPL on. And we're also going to put some thread locker, some blue thread locker on the pivot, just to show how that's done. So this is a T6. You're going to need a T6. So first we're just going to tighten the body screws. And you don't want to wrench on it. You want to make sure it's nice and taut, but you do not want to wrench on it because you will strip T6 screws. They're not the best. So just be careful when you're tightening the T6 screws. Tighten them up a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the pivot out. And we're going to lay our knife down. And we're going to clean this pivot screw with alcohol, because you want to make sure there's no gunk up inside the threads, because that will hinder the thread locker from working correctly. Okay. Well, I guess if we're going to put KPL on, I'm going to have to take at least these screws out. Nice and easy. I don't know if this will come off. Yeah, sweet. So there are certain knives that you have to take the clip screws out, but with the Kizer K, you can just take the two body screws out and leave it assembled and set it to the side. So check these bearings out. These are awesome. They are double row bearings. I had some out here just to show you. They're over there. I've got an extra set. Double row bearings. That's why the Kizer K is such a guillotine. Now I'm going to try to do this without losing my pivot. So I'm going to just clean these real quick with some 90% alcohol. And then we're going to put the knife back together after we get it all lubed up. I'm just going to dry these off real quick. And I'm going to put a little bit of lube, which you only need a tiny bit, like a tiny bit. You don't want too much lube because this causes friction in the bearings, and that's the last thing that you want. That is why I run mine completely dry. And then we're also going to clean this off. We're going to clean the blade off where the action is. So we're just going to give it a nice clean once over. And we're going to pop that baby back on there like so. And then you can also do this. You can put one little drop in the D10 hole. And that will also improve the action of your knife, apparently. Let's see, we got one more bearing right here. Oh, one more bearing here that we're going to put a little dab of pivot lube, or yeah, pivot lube. KPL, this is ultralight, this is 5-weight. They sell a bunch of different kinds. I don't use it. Sometimes I do have to use it. I have not had to use lube on a Kizer yet, but there are some knife companies that I've had to fix the action on, and I've had to actually use pivot lube. So we're going to get it all ready to rock and roll. We're going to tighten our T6 screws. You don't want them too tight. You can put thread locker on the body screws, but you don't have to. So this is very simple, and you only want a little bit of this thread locker. Goes a long way, so you only want a tiny bit. Boom. And then we're going to be very careful, and we're going to put it in there and screw it in. Start it with your fingers. There we go. Now it is very important to, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get your action set to where you want it. You want to get your blade centered, and then you leave your knife alone for a good 24 hours. Okay, the blade is centered. Beautiful. Let me check the, I'll tell you this, perfect. Okay. Yeah, see? Like, let me loosen it a little bit, but so before I did this, this knife was a guillotine. Now that I got that lube up in there, the action is not as, well, I guess it's okay, but you can feel the lube. I can feel the lube in there. It's crazy. That's why I don't use lube. The blade is centered. and we are going to leave this knife set for a good 24 hours, and then she's ready to flick. Thanks for watching. Later.